Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special episode, a top 10 countdown that spans the full spectrum of watchmaking, from accessible everyday companions to genuine horological icons. Whether you are just beginning your journey into the world of watches or you are a seasoned collector always hunting for your next great piece, today's list has something for every wrist and every budget. From Japanese mechanical art to Swiss manufacture mastery, these are 10 watches that represent the very best of what their respective brands and price points have to offer. Let's get into it. Number 10. Zenith Defy Classic. The Zenith Defy Classic is the perfect opening to today's list, a watch that announces itself with architectural confidence and backs that boldness with one of the most technically distinguished movements in modern Swiss watchmaking. Zenith has been producing movements in LeCoultre since 1865. And the Defy Classic is the contemporary expression of that unbroken tradition, forward-looking in design, deeply rooted in heritage. The open-worked dial is the Defy Classic's most immediate statement. The movement is not hidden behind a solid dial, but displayed through it. Gears, bridges, and the oscillating mass all visible, turning the act of telling the time into a window into the mechanical world within. The geometric case, with its angular integrated lugs and multifaceted surfaces, feels genuinely contemporary. A watch that belongs to its moment without chasing trends. At the heart of the Defy Classic beats Zenith's elite 670 automatic movement, offering a generous 100-hour power reserve and the precision that comes from a manufacturer with a century and a half of movement-making history. Number 9. Omega Railmaster. The Omega Railmaster occupies one of the most interesting positions in the entire Omega catalog. A watch with genuine historical significance and an equally genuine purpose, revived with all the credibility of the original and none of the compromise of a mere reissue. First introduced in 1957 alongside the Seamaster 300 and the Speedmaster as part of Omega's legendary trilogy of professional tool watches, the Railmaster was designed specifically for scientists and engineers working in environments of extreme magnetic interference. Railway engineers, physicists, and electronics technicians whose precision instruments could be disrupted by electromagnetic fields. The modern Railmaster inherits that anti-magnetic brief and executes it with Omega's most advanced technology. The coaxial master chronometer, caliber 8806 inside, is certified to METIS standards, a more demanding certification than Co-SC, and is resistant to magnetic fields of 15,000 Gauss. To put that in perspective, a standard watch movement begins to malfunction at around 60 Gauss. The Railmaster laughs at magnetic fields that would stop other watches dead. The dial is a faithful and beautiful homage to the 1957 original. Bold Arabic numerals, clean layout, and a warmth of character that modern tool watches often sacrifice for modernity. On a leather strap or the period-correct NATO, it wears with an effortless, purposeful confidence. The Omega Railmaster retails for approximately $5,300 USD. Serious money, serious watch. Number 8. Fossil Q Hybrid HR. The Fossil Q Hybrid HR earns its place on today's list by doing something that most watchmakers are still struggling to figure out: blending analog watch design with smart technology in a way that actually works, actually looks good, and actually respects the intelligence of the person wearing it. Fossil has spent years refining its hybrid smartwatch formula, and the Q Hybrid HR represents the most mature and satisfying expression of that work. The watch looks, at a glance, like a conventional analog timepiece. Round case, traditional hands, clean dial, because in most respects it is exactly that. The magic is in what lies beneath the surface. A heart rate sensor tracks your health metrics continuously. Step counting, activity tracking, and sleep monitoring all run silently in the background. Smartphone notifications are received and acknowledged through subtle hand movements. The battery life, measured in weeks rather than hours, eliminates the daily charging ritual that makes most smartwatches feel like a second phone rather than a first watch. The Q Hybrid HR is the answer to a question many traditional watch enthusiasts have been asking. Can I have the benefits of connected technology without sacrificing the experience of wearing a proper watch? For a growing number of people, Fossil's answer is yes. The Fossil Q Hybrid HR retails for approximately $195 to $275 USD. Exceptional functionality at an entirely accessible price. Number 7. Seiko Ananta. The Seiko Ananta is one of the most underappreciated watches in the entire Seiko catalog. a hand-finished, mechanically serious, visually distinctive timepiece that demonstrates what Seiko's master craftspeople are capable of when given the freedom to pursue genuine excellence without compromise. The name Ananta comes from the Sanskrit word for infinite or eternal, and it reflects the ambition of the project. A watch of lasting quality, crafted to standards that can stand alongside the finest Swiss competition, the Ananta's dial is immediately arresting. Bold, architectural, and unmistakably Japanese in its design sensibility. The case shape, with its curved lugs and strong lines, gives it a presence on the wrist that is quite different from the European watch tradition, and entirely compelling on its own terms. The movement inside, a high-beat automatic in the finest Ananta references, delivers the smooth, sweeping seconds hand that collectors prize, and the hand-applied finishing on the dial and case components speaks to the hours of skilled human work that separate a truly exceptional watch from a merely good one. Exhibition casebacks reveal movements decorated to a level that justifies sustained admiration. The Ananta is the watch that reminds you that Japan's watchmaking tradition runs deep, runs broad, and runs to a standard of hand craftsmanship that the world has been far too slow to fully appreciate. The Seiko Ananta retails for approximately $2,500 to $4,500 USD depending on the reference, and every version of it rewards the investment. Number 6. Jaeger LeCoultre Master Compressor. The Jaeger LeCoultre Master Compressor is a watch that earns its name, and in watchmaking, as in life, watches that earn their names are a rare and admirable thing. The compressor system is a patented case construction developed by Jaeger LeCoultre that uses the internal pressure created by the screwing down of the back and crystal to press the gaskets more firmly against the case, so that the harder the external pressure on the watch, the more watertight it becomes. It is a solution of mechanical elegance that reflects the philosophy of a manufacturer that has been producing some of the world's most technically accomplished watches since 1833. The Master Compressor collection spans a range of configurations, from clean three-hand models to chronographs and alarm watches, all sharing the distinctive crown-locking system at 8 o'clock that engages and secures the winding and setting mechanism before diving or other demanding activities. The Jaeger LeCoultre manufacture calibers inside are decorated and finished to a level that befits one of Switzerland's most historically significant watchmakers, and the exhibition casebacks invite the admiration those movements deserve. The case and dial design balance, sporting robustness with the refinement that Jaeger LeCoultre has always brought to even its most tool-oriented watches. A Jaeger LeCoultre on any wrist is a statement of connoisseurship. The Master Compressor adds adventure to that statement. The Jaeger LeCoultre Master Compressor retails for approximately $6,500 to $12,000 USD, depending on the complication and configuration, a range that reflects the breadth of this distinguished collection. Number 5. Tudor Heritage Ranger. The Tudor Heritage Ranger is a watch that wears its history openly and without embarrassment, and in doing so, it becomes something genuinely more interesting than a straightforward revival. Tudor produced the original Ranger in the 1960s and 1970s as a rugged field and exploration watch, a companion for expeditions and adventures in the days before GPS and satellite communication made the wild feel manageable. The Heritage Ranger reaches back to those original references and draws from them with care, intelligence, and a clear understanding of what made them special. The 41mm stainless steel case carries the vintage proportions into a contemporary package, substantial, without being aggressive, wearing with a naturalness that many modern sports watches struggle to achieve. The dial is the watch's most immediate pleasure, warm, legible, and unmistakably character-driven, with bold Arabic numerals, a seconds track, and a layout that communicates field watch functionality without the clinical severity that some tool watches fall into. The in-house Tudor movement, CO-SC certified and fitted with a silicon balance spring for magnetic resistance, delivers chronometer-grade performance with a healthy power reserve, proving that heritage aesthetic and modern technical standards are not mutually exclusive. Paired with a leather strap or canvas fabric option, the Heritage Ranger is the watch that makes you want to go somewhere interesting and do something worth remembering. The Tudor Heritage Ranger retails for approximately $275 USD. Remarkable value for an in-house certified chronometer of this depth and character. Number 4. Longines Conquest V.H.P. The Longines Conquest V.H.P., very high precision, is a watch that challenges everything you think you know about what a quartz watch can be, and resets those expectations at a considerably higher level. Longines has always been a brand associated with precision. The company served as the official timekeeper of countless world championships across the 20th century, and the Conquest V.H.P brings that precision tradition into a modern, sporty, and eminently wearable package. The movement inside is not a standard quartz caliber. The Longines caliber L285 is a thermocompensated quartz movement, accurate to plus or minus 5 seconds per year, a level of precision that approaches radio-controlled atomic timekeeping without requiring any external signal. A flash setting mechanism allows rapid, precise time adjustment, and the perpetual calendar function, tracking date, day, month, and year with automatic leap year recognition, never requires manual correction until 2100. The 41mm stainless steel case is robust and well-finished, with 300 meters of water resistance and a solid construction that makes it a genuine sports watch. The clean, sporty dial reads with effortless legibility, and the bracelet quality speaks to a brand that understands what serious daily wear demands. For the person who wants Swiss precision, real durability, and practical intelligence in a single package, the Longines Conquest V.H.P is exceptionally hard to beat. The Longines Conquest V.H.P retails for approximately $875 to $1,150 USD. Outstanding value for this level of precision engineering. Number 3. Vacheron Constantin Traditionnelle. To speak of the Vacheron Constantin Traditionnelle is to speak of one of the great constants in watchmaking, a collection that has anchored one of the oldest watch manufacturers in the world for generations and continues to represent the purest, most refined expression of classical Swiss haute horlogerie available at any price. Vacheron Constantin was founded in Geneva in 1755, making it the oldest watch manufacturer in continuous operation anywhere in the world. Every watch in the Traditionnelle collection carries that weight of history, and carries it beautifully. The Traditionnelle is a masterclass in the restraint that separates great design from merely good design. The case is round and perfectly proportioned, with a slim profile that achieves wrist presence not through size but through the unmistakable quality of its finishing, hand-beveled and polished lugs, fluted caseback, and surfaces that catch light with the clarity that only decades of craft tradition can produce. The dial is a study in Geneva's finest decorative arts, guilloche texturing executed on a rose engine, applied gold or rhodium-plated indices of impeccable quality, and printed text of extraordinary fineness. The in-house manufacture movements inside are decorated to the hallmark of Geneva standard, the most demanding finishing certification in watchmaking, applied by hand to a specification that excludes any movement not worthy of the designation. The Traditionnelle is the watch for those who understand that the apex of horology is not about complications or titanium cases or satellite synchronization. It is about the perfect execution of a perfect object. The Vacheron Constantin Traditionnelle retails from approximately $18,000 to $35,000 USD, depending on the reference and metal. And for those who can reach it, it is among the finest things money can buy. Number 2. Jaeger LeCoultre Polaris. The Jaeger LeCoultre Polaris is the watch that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that Jaeger LeCoultre understands the contemporary sports watch market at least as well as any of its peers, and brings a depth of manufacture heritage to that market that very few competitors can match. Originally introduced in 1968 as the Memovox Polaris, an alarm diver's watch of considerable technical ambition, the modern Polaris collection revives that spirit with contemporary movements, refined proportions, and a design sensibility that balances heritage and modernity with uncommon skill. The integrated bracelet design flows naturally from the case, with a quality of construction and surface finishing that reflects a manufacturer whose attention to detail extends to every component the wearer touches. The dial is bold and deeply satisfying. Strong indices, generous lume application, a date window positioned with care, and the overall impression of a watch that takes its sporting credentials seriously while never forgetting that it wears a Jaeger LeCoultre badge. The in-house calibers inside, varying by model from clean automatics to chronographs, are decorated and adjusted to the standards that have made this manufacturer one of the most respected movement producers in the world. The Polaris Automatic offers a compelling entry into the collection, while the Polaris Chronograph takes it to another level entirely for those who want stopwatch functionality with manufacture quality. For a sports watch of genuine depth and distinction, the Jaeger LeCoultre Polaris makes an absolutely compelling case. The Jaeger LeCoultre Polaris retails for approximately $7,500 to $15,000 USD, depending on the complication and configuration. Number 1. Tissot Visodate. The Tissot Visodate takes the top spot on today's list. And if that surprises you, then perhaps that surprise itself is the point. In a countdown that has included Vacheron Constantin, Jaeger LeCoultre, and Zenith, placing a Tissot at number 1 is a deliberate and considered act of respect for a watch that embodies a principle more important than price or prestige. The principle that a truly great watch is one that gets everything right for the person wearing it, at the price they can actually afford, and delivers genuine joy every single day. The Tissot Visodate is a watch with a history stretching back to 1953, a dial date complication visible through the dial itself, as the name suggests, presented in a design that has aged not just gracefully, but triumphantly. The modern Visodate is offered as a Powermatic 80 automatic, carrying the same outstanding movement found in the celebrated PRX, the 80-hour power reserve, the silicon balance spring, the KOSC adjacent accuracy, but wrapped in a vintage-inspired, round-cased package that speaks to a completely different design sensibility. The Sunburst dial, available in rich blue or deep silver tones, carries applied hour markers and a date aperture at 3 o'clock, with a clarity and quality that punches well above its price class. The hands are beautifully finished. The case proportions are timeless. The bracelet or strap options give genuine versatility.